Leonor and Sophia, the sister bond Spain loves. Everyone thinks they already know the relationship between Princess Leonor and Infanta Sofia. Two royal sisters, smiling side by side at public events, perfectly coordinated, perfectly poised. But what if I told you that behind those polished appearances lies a bond far deeper, more emotional, and more surprising than anyone ever realized? And what if the truth is that the greatest strength inside the Spanish royal family isn't the crown, the tradition, or the palace itself, but the love between these two sisters? Because while the world assumes the monarchy survives through protocol, the real story is that it survives through them. From the outside, Leonor and Sophia seem to live a life built on perfection. Yet the reality is far more human, far more powerful, and at times, far more intense. Their connection hasn't just shaped their childhood, it has shaped the future of Spain. And the moments the public never sees, the conversations that stay behind closed doors, the tears, the laughter, the nights they stayed awake whispering about their futures, those are the moments that define who they truly are. People wonder how two sisters raised under so much pressure could remain so close. But the real story begins much earlier than anyone imagines. From the moment they were children, Leonor and Sophia learned that the world would always look at them through a different lens. Cameras, expectations, rumors, responsibilities, everything started early. But rather than letting that divide them, it forced them to hold on to each other even tighter. The first curiosity is this: how do you grow up knowing that one of you will be queen while the other stands beside her? And does that difference create competition, jealousy, or distance? The surprising answer, the one the palace rarely talks about, is that it created none of those things. Instead, it built a bond stronger than duty. Sophia never envied the crown coming Leonor's way. In fact, she protected her sister from the pressure of it. And Leonor, rather than feeling the weight alone, leaned on Sophia more than she ever admitted publicly. The truth is that the sisters' dynamic shaped the calm strength people admire in Leonor today. They say she's poised, disciplined, and prepared. But they don't know the role Sophia played in keeping her grounded. The moments when Leonor worried about upcoming public speeches, national ceremonies, or her training at the academy, it was Sophia who reassured her, telling her that she didn't have to be perfect, she just had to be herself. As they grew older, their lives changed dramatically. Leonor went to Wales, then into military training. Sophia went to the UWC Costa Rica, far away from Spain. Suddenly the girls who once shared every day were living separate lives on different continents. The distance could have broken them. But instead, it deepened their connection. They messaged constantly, sometimes late at night, sending little voice notes about their day, their struggles, their fears. And even when the world thought they were living two very different lives, they were still each other's home. When Leonor started her military path, many wondered how she survived the intensity. The early mornings, the pressure, the strictness. But what people didn't know was that Sophia sent her messages on the night before big milestones. Words that softened the hardness of duty. Words that reminded her she was still allowed to feel tired, still allowed to be human. And in return, Leonor encouraged Sophia as she navigated a school full of cultures, expectations, and new people who had no idea she was a royal. And here's where the next curiosity loop begins. If they are so close, what happens when Spain needs Leonor more than ever? What happens when the world looks to her as the next queen? Does their bond weaken under the pressure of responsibility? Or does it evolve into something even stronger? The answer reveals a side of royalty the public rarely sees. Leonor, despite the rising responsibilities, makes space for her sister in everything that matters. Every major decision she faces, she talks through with Sophia. Every new challenge, every new demand, Sophia knows first. And Sophia, even though she will never sit on the throne, plays a role that is just as important. She keeps Leonor balanced, grounded, real. She is the private truth behind the public image. When Sophia returned home for holidays in 2024 and 2025, people noted the way they walked side by side, always in sync. What they didn't know was what happened before those events, the long conversations in their bedrooms, catching up on months of life apart, laughing until they cried, sharing fears no one else could understand. The world saw polished princesses. Their family saw best friends reunited. And yet, their story isn't only about closeness. There were moments of tension too, like any siblings. Times when the pressure on Leonor unintentionally made Sophia feel invisible. Times when Sophia's growing independence surprised Leonor. Times when the future felt heavy between them. But those moments were never hidden under silence. They talked through them. They confronted them. They refused to let royal life create distance. One of the most emotional moments happened just after Leonor completed a critical part of her military training. She came home exhausted, changed, more mature, more burdened. And Sophia, seeing her for the first time in months, hugged her longer than usual. She whispered something to Leonor that stayed with her: "You're not doing this alone. Not now, not ever." That sentence became Leonor's anchor through the rest of her training. And here's another curiosity: how will their bond evolve in the years to come, as Leonor steps closer to the throne? Insiders say that Sophia will likely take on a more supportive role, much like Princess Madeleine with Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden, or Princess Alexandra with Crown Prince Frederick of Denmark. But what sets Leonor and Sophia apart is the type of partnership they share. Sophia isn't simply the supporting sister. She is Leonor's emotional equilibrium, the person who ensures the future queen never forgets she's human first. Another powerful moment came during a private family dinner in early 2025. Leonor spoke openly about the anxiety of preparing for responsibilities that feel larger than any single person. And Sophia told her something the royal family wasn't expecting to hear: Spain doesn't need perfection. Spain needs you. Those words altered Leonor's entire approach, shifting her from anxiety to purpose. Their bond resonates with the Spanish public because it feels real, emotional, and relatable. In a world where monarchy can sometimes appear distant, these sisters remind people that behind titles are daughters, sisters, young women learning, stumbling, and growing just like everyone else. And that authenticity is why Spain loves them so deeply. As they step further into adulthood, both sisters carry roles that matter in different ways. Leonor prepares for leadership. Sophia prepares for support, independence, and a life less defined by titles but no less impactful. Their story becomes a reflection of modern royalty, softened by love, strengthened by loyalty, and enriched by the kind of sisterhood that doesn't crumble under pressure but evolves through it. The reason Spain admires their bond isn't simply because they're princesses. It's because their relationship mirrors what everyone wishes for in their own lives: someone who understands us, stands with us, and walks beside us through every chapter, every challenge, every triumph. And that leads us to the final curiosity: what will happen the day Leonor becomes queen? Will her bond with Sophia change once again? Or will it become the anchor the monarchy depends on more than ever? People close to them believe the answer is already clear. Sophia may never wear the crown, but she will always be the unseen strength behind it. And Leonor may one day lead Spain, but she will always turn to her sister first. Their story isn't about duty. It's about devotion. A sisterhood Spain admires not because it's royal, but because it's real. And in a world that often demands perfection from them, the truth is that their greatest power has always been their love for each other. That is the bond Spain loves. That is the bond the world is finally beginning to understand.